Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, and people are like, it's this week's Monkeyed Up Punch podcast. This week I'm joined by Keith. Pay attention.
I was privately messaging you.
No, you were privately messaging. No, you've tucked it out publicly. You've got erectile dysfunction. Why have you got erectile dysfunction? Why would you put that in the public chat?
It's fine, by the way. It's fine. We had some technical issues before we started. It's okay.
It's fine. His erectile dysfunction is sorted. Everybody, give him a round of applause, please. The man can get it up.
Thank you. It's been one of those days, hasn't it?
Sorry.
Been one of those days.
It has been one of those days. For just, you'll probably lose my picture at one point because I didn't charge the camera up. So I've probably got like 20 minutes before I disappear off screen. So when it happens, I'll become the gaming face punch logo. I did warn you. So hopefully everything's worked out fine. So, Mr. Just the title after. Okay, the title's fucked up. Bugger. Anyway, on this week's show, we will be talking about Tom Cruise and his holiday video that he filmed while he was out in Rome and Venice and somewhere in the Alps, and he just had to throw himself off of stuff because that's what Tom Cruise does when he gets bored. We'll be talking about Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, the Apple TV show Hijack, which a bit forgettable this week, and Keith's going to some way cross Star Wars into this. I imagine when we talk about talk about the writers' strike.
Actually, there is something to talk about Star Wars. I completely forgot. There's a new Ahsoka trailer. Got that. Sorry, dude.
I do another podcast.
I was about to say.
And we said, why don't we invite Keith on? It's like, because it just crossed Star Wars into it.
I wasn't actually genuinely going to talk about Star Wars. It's your fault. You reminded me. I would have gone this entire podcast without even remembering it. But there is a new Ahsoka trailer. It does show Admiral Thrawn. It does bring back a little bit of the feels of Rebels in it. It shows the what's his face, more of the planet. It's a good trailer. I'm not saying the series is good.
Are you sure? Cool, because last time I watched that Ahsoka trailer, it looked really crap, and I mean like visually crap.
This was better. It showed Thrawn.
It was vag power, yeah, and it was just dripping in estrogen. And I feel sorry because this is one of Ray Stevenson's last films. Things he's ever done.
Yeah, well, there's more of him in there. There, you get a shot of Thrawn, which was cool. Seeing, what's his face as Thrawn. There was a lot more of the Rebels feels there. There was, there's all the characters brought into it. So I'm kind of, if it takes the line of Rebels, it'll be all right. Right, because I enjoyed Rebels, and that was your fault because you introduced me to that. And you were right; it was good. It's got the feels of Rebels, but anyway, we don't need to go and check it out. We can cover it when we haven't got anything else to cover. But what do you want to start with?
Let's start with Mission Impossible because I've literally just been outside the cinema for about 40 minutes because I just watched it. So I went to an early showing. The earliest showing they had Sunday morning. I popped in there and started watching it, and it started reminding me of other things. Not in a bad way, because the other things, I like the other things that it reminded me of, namely Metal Gear Solid and Uncharted.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, this feels familiar. So yeah, it's. Did it feel good? I think first thing is that I went there and I was a little bit hungover and a little bit tired and a little bit a little bit dehydrated. I think it's probably the best word. I've had a really rough fucking week or so, and going into part 1, my brain's knows that it will get towards the end of the film, going, where will it end? Well, it'll end here. Will it end here? Is it going to end here? It might end here, and that's really annoying. because my brain's sitting there. Because there's a bit where a certain character gets it on a bridge, and went, oh, they're going to end it there. No, not going to end it there. Okay, fair enough. Then they have another bit where it goes a little ridiculous. They're going to end it there. No. And then it's like going to do it on the train. And it's like, okay, are they going to end it on a cliffhanger? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm sitting there guessing. And it kind of ruined my appreciation of the film a bit.
I can guess that, but I mean, there were a couple of things. I knew it was a long film, so I knew roughly what time it was going to end. Roughly, right? So
I knew it was going to end. I could check the schedule at the cinema.
Well, no, I didn't do that, but I knew roughly when it was going to end. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I loved it.
I enjoyed it, but I'm going to have to go back and watch it again.
Yeah. But can you believe it's 28 years since the first one? 28. He has been playing Ethan Hunt for 28 fucking years.
Wow.
Dude.
I thought he was going to go. I'll be honest with you. I thought he was going to go grey. I was expecting him to be grey in it. I don't know why he didn't go grey and look like, I can't remember the original Ethan Hunt from the TV series. But yeah, you can't get all things. Anyway, first thing I noticed, I was watching it, and there's a Bering Straits. Was it Bering Straits? Yeah, it was Bering Straits near the Arctic Circle. And a submarine underwater, and I was like, this is rather Metal Gearish. This is like the opening scenes. I was expecting Ethan Hunt to be fired out in a torpedo in a one-man SDV to infiltrate a nuclear weapons decommissioning base. Didn't happen, but it did evoke that. I'm going to see if I find an article on this. As I said, it sounds really weird. I think the Mission Impossible films have stood still, if that makes sense. In the way that they do things, and the way that they make the film, and the way they market the film, I think they've stood still. It's not a bad thing, because everything that's marched forward seems to have fucked up. When this is more, yeah.
I think, yeah, you're right. I think it was just a more it was refreshing. It was just a good action film with a good story, with tension. I mean, Aya Biffa, and he's right, the tension was good. The music was actually really good. I mean, the eye candy. I mean, if you're a man and you like men, it's good eye candy. But if you like women, I mean, Rebecca Ferguson, Hayley Atwell.
Would you hang on a second? I'll just hang on. I'll press the button. Now it's quite enough of that, now, gentlemen.
Hayley
I haven't got a Hayley Atwell button.
You got to get a Hayley Atwell one, and Vanessa Kirby. That was a good lineup.
Right. Vanessa Kirby threw me because all of a sudden I thought I was watching Fast and the Furious. I was expecting Forty Smush to turn up. Who's the guy? Jason Statham, because has her brother in it.
Yeah, I look. I mean, I'd seen her character in the previous one. The only thing I wish they hadn't done was kill off Henry Cavill, because I think the inclusion of Henry Cavill could have been interesting. But look, it was genuinely.
Sorry, are you talking The Witcher?
No, Henry Cavill was in the last one.
I know he was in the last one. He did the thing with the guns where he reloaded his arms. I love that. I can reload my arms. Arms don't need reloading, Henry.
Yeah, I thought it was epic. I thought it was really good. It's a good old-fashioned action film, but it has a bit of heart. It has a bit of weight. Ethan is a bit more vulnerable in this, which is actually kind of cool in some ways.
Right. So I don't think he's. No, I don't think he is. I think he's been the same vulnerability as he's been in other films. I think the vulnerability bit came across when Brad Bird did his first Mission Impossible, where he said to Tom Cruise, "Maybe don't take yourself so seriously," and he had him fight that massive guy in the concert hall on the rafter, where he stood up, and he's not a tall man, which is fine. Yeah, he stood up, and then the other guy stood up, and he's like, "Kind of fuck, I'm a midget." And ever since then, I think that's not happened. And there are some bits where he fucks up, and seeing someone fuck up in the story sometimes works really well.
But I think there's a slight. I felt there was a bit more emotion and a bit more vulnerability from him in this. There's more camaraderie between the team a little bit. there was more at stake. You know, I enjoyed Simon Pegg in this.
Ah,
Brilliant
right.
casting.
That was my one down point. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I find Simon Pegg now I find Simon Pegg irritating, and he looks like a sweaty geography teacher that has been caught with something on his laptop.
I know what he said about Star Wars.
No, no, no.
and
I've not heard anything that he said. It's just the way he comes across. Yeah, because he's playing a young man and he looks really fucking old. That's the way he's playing it as a young man. But he looks really old.
They
Where
mentioned
Vin Rames is playing an old man being old.
I don't know. I think
The conversation in the airport. Ah, there goes my camera.
Yeah.
There goes my camera. Sorry, let me.
Oh, you have proper. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you know, I think. Hang on. Can I?
Wait, no.
No. I want to be. I don't know. I didn't find that. I kind of like Simon Pegg in films. I just think I think he said a few stupid things in public, but I thought he was good in this film. I enjoyed the team. I enjoyed Vin Rhames. Obviously, he's gone off to do something that's going to have a play in the second movie. I don't think he's going to die. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was well shot. It's really cinematic.
Oh, right.
Really cinematic.
There were some shots in it, apart from the stunt ones, yeah, which are absolutely beautiful. There's a bit where he's in Venice and he runs down a corridor full of candles, and as he comes out, it follows him out and then tracks him as he goes and it's perfect as a shot. I'd be like, I'm properly jealous.
I know, Lauren, Chuck are watching Chuck. You're going to love it from a cinematic point of view. It's beautifully shot, but it's that without going into like real spoilers, that scene in Venice when Ethan's being chased by the two henchmen and they go down that really narrow sort of alleyway, then they have that whole fight scene choreographed in there. That was amazingly well shot, and it did give me a feeling of a bit of claustrophobia, but again, it was well shot. The music was that was a really done well. This film is incredibly well directed. I mean, it is really well directed, and the cinematographer there has done some amazing shots. When Ethan's running along, even over that roof of that airport, and don't get me wrong, you've got this amazing building, right? But that guy knew how to shoot that building, and it shows. I mean, it is a great blockbuster of a movie. It's a great summer blockbuster movie. It's beautifully shot. There's not a lot of CGI in it, which is good. I loved it. I really did. I think it's one of my favorite movies this year so far. Actually, generally, I really enjoyed it.
I'm frustrated because I hate part 1, part 2s.
I get it.
I really do.
I don't think it didn't finish on. It finished in a satisfying place. It wasn't a huge cliffhanger. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna have to wait a year to find out if Ethan's dead or not, or that kind of fucking thing. It finished with, it finished in a good place for where it was. The story is going to continue, but it's going off in a different direction. It finished in a thing. Ethan got the key, right, which was cool, and I like that end shot of him on having escaped, then finding the lighter. I thought that was really nice. So you got that little bit of satisfaction that Ethan got one up on the bad guys. Haley Atwell's character is obviously going to join the IMF, liked that. Kittredge, more to Kittredge than meets the eye. Again, that good characterization. I enjoyed it. I keep saying that, but I did. And there's a lot of good things. We could sit here and go over everything. I mean, I know you're frustrated by like part 1 and 2, but
right. It just means that I'll be honest with you. They've just sold me going back to the cinema and watching it again.
Yeah.
Because I need to. Because it wasn't like I didn't appreciate it, but I just want to watch it without playing. When's it going to end? Yeah, because the part of me was they didn't really. They set up the train thing, and it's kind of going down the predestination sort of route. Which is, it's fine. You can do the predestination route, but the computer's predicting the predestination sort of stuff. But you have to be careful because you want to make sure that you nail the landing, if that makes any sense. Because part of me is worried that they might not nail the landing with this thing because they've kind of pushed you down somewhere.
So the people behind this, the creative team behind this, made 6 and 7, and if we're going to pick them, 3, 6, and 7 are probably my favorites. I mean, 1 was great, but 2 was a bit meh. But 6 and 7.
No,
were really
2.
good.
I loved 2. 2 was like having a fucking explosion in your face.
Well, the John was the Woo. Scottish bad guy, wasn't it? I mean,
the Scottish bad guy with it was mental. It had the Metallica music video. It was the one that
3 was better because of what's his face as the bad guy was just.
Well, who was in 3?
Who was the one that killed himself? The blonde guy.
Oh, that one. That was fucking ghastly.
No, it wasn't.
That
was
was
a really
absolutely
good bad
ghastly.
Guy. All right.
All right. Well, that was absolutely ghastly. And one, it was the JJ one. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that back then.
It was a JJ one. The bad guy, was the only good bit in that. He was the only good bit. He nailed it as a bad guy. They had this weapon or whatever it was called the rabbit's foot. Yeah. Never found out what it was. Yeah, never found out what it was. Never saw it deployed. Never did the other. It's like with Dead Reckoning, they tell you about an evil AI, and you see the evil AI, and you see the effects of the evil AI, but they don't say there's an evil AI, and nothing then fucking happens. All right, the third one's the worst one. Sorry.
All right. Maybe you're right.
I will fight you. I will get on a plane and come over, and I will beat you until you agree with me.
No, I'm not going to disagree with you because you could be right.
I am right. It's not could be. I am right.
I did enjoy the Scottish bad guy in the second one. I didn't think he was that good, and that's possibly why.
Okay, but I liked why you didn't like the Scottish bad guy, but you had the action sequences.
Yeah,
and the tension was like dialed up to 110.
I mean, the second one was when he started riding a bike, and he's ridden a bike in every single fucking one since. And he had to go one fucking further this time, and as Biff was like to see riding a motorbike off a fucking mountain. That was kind of awesome, and he did that like 8 or 9 times in that film, and he did it like repeatedly over one day. Like he must have, did that jump more than once in a day. We're gone.
I imagine he had to do it once on his own so they could get it for the wide shots. Another one so they could have someone follow him down the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
And then some other ones too because they've also filmed some dialogue and I'm trying to work out because
that was real.
I don't know if they just like attached him to the side of a plane and because it's the audio. How the hell did they get the audio? Because the audio sounds like it's genuine. If that makes any sense.
He might have dubbed over it, but that is real because there's a documentary somewhere on YouTube that talks about it, and one of them he like drops a fucking GoPro. I think one of them's like a GoPro scene where when it drops away from him. Like that was they filmed that as well. All of that is practical effect. And that's why he jumped off like 9 times. I mean, dude, that was actually really epic. I mean, the fuck is going into space next, isn't he? I mean, the rumor is that is a Mission Impossible film.
What's that?
Well, he's going into space, isn't he? Like, really, he is going into space on a SpaceX rocket. This is no fucking lie. Google it. The rumor is that's an MI film because Dead Reckoning doesn't finish it off. They want to make more. I mean, Tom Cruise is look, regardless of his personal life, he's a bloody good movie star. And right now, he's single-handedly saving the sort of Hollywood blockbuster at the moment because. To me, there aren't that many good blockbusters, and most of them are with Tom Cruise in them. So,
right, yeah, it's so right. Let's go back to certain things. So, there's quite a few video game references in this film.
Yeah, I know.
They're quite so that you had the first one with the Bering Straits with the submarine under the ice, which is Metal Gear Solid, first one. Then you had the fight in the desert, which was similar to when you lose quiet. I was called Silence and Quiet in Metal Gear Solid: Phantom Pain, and then it ended pretty much minus the helicopter with the train sequence from Uncharted 2. And it even ended with the bit where they have to climb up the inside of the carriage to escape it falling down.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember
The
you
thing is,
showing
part of me
me
is
that.
like, you can climb up the. Part of me is like, you just climb around the outside. It's easy to do on the outside. You have the bits all marked in yellow. So you had those bits in there. And I said to you before we started, when they were in Rome, I was so expecting them to run into the Fast and the Furious crew. I really was. My brain hadn't thinking there's Vin Diesel around here somewhere chasing around a big football, trying to play Rocket League, which is fine. But you had some other bits in there. Right, so let's just have a look at a bit. So the tension was good in the film. The tension was good in the film. I did like the tension. I can't remember the music, so I can't say the music's any good because I can't remember it. Because I'm thinking back to it, and I'm like, I can't remember the music.
It was quite good.
Because when it's good music, I hear it and the thing at the same time, and it acts as the third person in the room going, "This is tense. This is so tense. He might die. He might die." And does that for the music. Yeah, that's what the music does secretly in the background. It's like a Supermarine in Dunkirk towards the end. Yeah, you get towards the end and it starts playing the Supermarine with a ticking clock, and everything just amps up to 11, and it's just like, oh my god, it's just. But I can't remember any of the music in there. The idea with the AI, which is very relevant at the moment, with a lot of AI stuff coming out, which I found quite interesting, and then the deep fake stuff. When they start deep faking what's his Mush's voice, and I'll be honest with you, Keith, the bit where he was trying to disarm the nuclear bomb in the airport, and the thing's asking him questions, like in the form of riddles and whatnot, so it can record and map his voice. That's why it was doing it. Yeah, that felt like it should have been a newer member of the team who'd only been there for like a couple of months. Did that not feel like that? Maybe Simon Pegg might have been swapped out for someone.
You could be right because of the COVID thing, but on the other hand, Simon Pegg doesn't really go out in the field that much. He's the guy behind, that sits in the room talking to them. So the fact that he's had to go out into the field and do like the disarming stuff, he's not really done that before in the movies. So I can buy it, but you could be right. But I think the explanation. Or they might have thought, well, look, he's usually the guy sitting in the room or sitting in the transit, while everybody else goes off and does the heroic shit. I mean, even Vin Rhames has like flown fucking helicopters and shit. I don't know. You could be right. They could have cut down the cast. For it
could have been a new. It felt like the dialogue was for a fresh face sort of person.
Yeah, I could buy it.
And there, he looks like a creepy geography teacher.
He does look a bit older these days. I'll give you that.
He does. He looks like a creepy geography teacher.
I mean, Tom Cruise doesn't look like 61. You bastard. He looks younger than me. Fuck.
£100 lighter. But hang on a second.
I mean, Shall I? Yeah, go on. Yes. Just for you, Biffo.
Oh, fine, because we haven't read the comments yet. Not make me. I'm going to stop it there. There you go, Alien Atwell.
Oh god, I fucking love it. I did find her irritating though at times. The fact that she kept running off all the time. It's like, look, if you run off one more time, right, and you get fucking killed, you deserve it. But I did get a bit, the first time, yeah, it was funny, and I knew we'd get back. Yes, Chuck, very much so. I knew.
You chuck your wife's on. Just like point that out, okay? I know my wife's watching downstairs.
Quick one for Tom Cruise.
No, right. So hang on a second. So just a quick one because I just want right. So though I'm down talking it, it is worth to watch. It feels like a mid tens action film done
Yep.
reasonably.
Yep.
I think it's done reasonably well. I don't find the music any doesn't stay with me. It ends with the train scene. So when they talk about the train in it, that's where the end's coming up. So that will save you from going, I don't know where it's going to end, and you don't have to go what I did. Sorry, we've got comments, and I've been chatting away, not paying attention.
Yeah,
Motor sequels. Hang on a second. Right, so this is the. I've lost Keith. Oh, Keith has died. Everybody, Keith's internet connection has been destroyed by a small furry animal, probably his dog. I hope you're talking about the. Anyway, going back to this comment here, that's the one where he jumps off the side of the mountain. That's the best bit in the entire film. I love that. I hate the fact that I've already seen it in like trailers and bits and clips of films and whatnot. But that scene where he just it was actually breathtaking the first time I saw that. I'm just like, wow. And then they cut all the bits together, and now he's back here. He's back.
yeah, sorry about that.
No, hang on a second. You deserve that. You just. Oh, right. So just a quick one. Be a stupid gamer. He's interrupting. He's on vacation at the moment. I know. There's no game tonight, but it's. I just like to point out that from a conversation I had with him and some other people last weekend, this is him going on what I describe as the not having sex tour. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
for Chuck, I replied to you in the YouTube comments, but it's not showing up. Cinematography on this guy, Chuck, you're gonna love it. It's really good. So nice, yeah. Yeah.
That okay. It's just going to be Hayley Atwell and Rebecca Ferguson in the.
Oh no, Vanessa Kirby's in this, and she is not exactly freaking.
I'm not. I'm not. She's got a touch of what I lovingly refer to as EastEnders.
Oh, I don't know. She played the Queen's daughter, the Queen's sister. No, she's hot. I'm sorry, she's hot. She's up there. She's a good-looking lass. That one. And although Hayley Atwell, Rebecca Ferguson, slightly up.
Hang on. Look, there you go, Hayley Atwell.
I do love me a little bit of Hayley Atwell. Yeah.
Slightly different angle.
Even better.
Podcast listeners, I'm sorry. Come watch the video.
Just Google Hayley Atwell. And a sexy Hayley Atwell, even better.
Yeah.
Go image search. Yeah. Look. I mean, look, we got to roll on to another topic, but I fucking loved it. I enjoyed it. Good day out of the cinema. It was awesome. It's been a long while since I've come out of the cinema and gone, that was awesome. Although I probably did the same with I did the same with the Fast and the Furious, but that finished on much more of a nasty cliffhanger. So that annoyed me slightly more than this.
For the Fast and the Furious, because I had to check my brain for the film to work, I didn't think too much. So I didn't get done because I had literally just taken my brain out and put it next to me on the chair.
Put it in the jar.
Put it in the jar. Put some Coke in there. Some pineapple. Oven 20 minutes. It's beautiful. Anyway, how to cook a human brain. Delicious. It's trying to think of other things because there were lots of other things too. There was who's the bad guy who was in it beforehand? Because I can't remember seeing him.
I know. I think he's been chopped in, and I can't remember his name either. He's been chopped in, but he's like from Ethan's shadowy past. So the new thing here is that they were all crooks, right? At one point or another, they were all criminals, and they were all recruited to the IMF in that way. Now, I don't think
the international. Hang on. You've just reminded me of something. Carry on.
IMF is Impossible Mission something.
Force.
Force, yeah. So that was kind of new. So, but he killed some woman that he liked 30 years ago. And yeah, that's where he comes from. And again, Ethan was going to kill him. Even though Vin Rhymes said that I worry about you, and Ethan went, I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to kill him. I know what's at stake. He was going to kill him. And it's only because one of the sort of CIA force or whoever that was after him stopped him from doing that. So, or it was a ruse just to get the key off him. I don't know. But
Might be a bit of both.
It looked like he was going to, because again, that was Ethan. That's what I mean by there was a bit more vulnerability to him this time. Apparently, yeah, he's interrupting again. But the trouble is, every time he comments, I have to read it out. I'm interrupting just to say I'm on vacation. Yeah, we got that. Isn't that the same comment that was there a minute ago?
Cheeky bastard, just cut and paste. He loves doing that. If you ever use Discord, it's just full of him cutting and pasting codes. He just literally cut and paste constantly. Don't worry, he's sitting there slowly cooking as he's enjoying himself. So just to think, there's a character in it called, I don't know, he's one of the guys chasing him down. It's played by a fella called Shay Wiggum, who I see in everything. He always plays like either a sergeant, a soldier, or a cop.
Yep.
I've never seen him play anything outside that. And him and the other guy, I can't remember who the other guy was, the other fella, they have a very meta conversation on the train about Ethan Hunt and his crew. It's like kind of, they go to these escapades and stuff like that. And it's like part of you, when I heard that, and I went, they're going to join the good guys. They're so joining the good guys when something happens. I liked that. And there's something else and I've forgotten. Something Star Wars. Go on, put it in there. You want.
I wasn't. I can't think of anything more really to say other than that I really enjoyed it. I don't want to spoil it too much because there's a few people watching that are probably going to go and see it. So, but I agree with you. The submarine thing at the beginning I really enjoyed. I mean, there was a few sort of Hunt for Red October vibes in there with the Russians. I know what and now that you say Metal Gear Solid, you're absolutely right. You are right about that.
And then they admitted that it was the train sequence. There's things online about the guy going, yes, it's a train sequence from Uncharted 2. Because you don't have to see my face, I can Google. It works. Yeah, no, it works. It's fine. It's good because if you're gonna rip something off, you rip something that's good. Don't rip anything bad off. That's just stupid. You don't copy someone to fail.
I'll tell you what though, when she's about to die, when Hayley Atwell's character, is at that point where she's about to die, I knew Ethan was going to come through the fucking window. I fucking knew he was going to come through the window.
Right. See, right. So what they did there is they had Ethan had bad luck.
Yeah.
Ethan then got lucky, so it felt balanced. If that made any sense.
Yeah. But I liked he was a bit dazed after that as well. No, it was. It was good. It was good. I would like to talk a bit about Hijack.
Hang on. One last thing. One last thing. Come on, load. There you go, Keith.
See, she's not bad. She's not bad.
But she reminds me of EastEnders, I'm afraid, and that's just an instant boner killer.
Only because that's where you first saw her, right? The first time I saw her was you saw her in because she is in bloody
was she in EastEnders?
No,
she's in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but she plays like an EastEnder, and she's a bit chav, right? The first time I saw her, she was playing Princess Margaret, and you can't get more fucking hair than that. So when I first saw her, she was a bit of totty.
Hello, do you have your own national anthem? I do.
Yeah, so she was she was playing Princess Margaret. So and then I saw her in Mission Impossible. Then she was in what's its face in Fast and the Furious, where she was a bit more street, shall we say? But She was back to her. That's the way she speaks in this. Is the way she really talks. You know, she is quite pish. Um, but yes. Anyway, what do you want to talk about next? Do you want to talk about Hollywood being fucked or hijacked?
Let's talk about the writers' strike so you can fit Star Wars in this somehow.
I can't. It's just all actors have now walked off. What I found interesting was, and I kind of get it, right? But these actors, you know, all I've seen over the weekend is watch the moment that the cast left the Oppenheimer premiere in London, you know, and it's all about how they left the premiere in London. Yeah, and
do you want to hear something? Do you want to hear something that's really heartwarming?
Go on.
Right, when they did Revenge of the Sith and they had the premiere in London, yeah, George Lucas, I think it's Rick McCallum and Ian McDermott and Ewan McGregor left the premiere of that, and they went round the corner and they snuck into an actual sing with the crowd. And then when it was over, then they showed themselves in front of the whole audience. That is what you do at a premiere. Well done.
Yeah.
I actually, the more I hear about George Lucas's behaviour off set and how he behaves with people, the nicer person I think he is. It's like he threw a party for Brian Blessed. He got the last shot and they threw a little party. Brian Blessed was late. The only time he's ever been late. But I hear these little stories about how he puts these things out. It's like with the Samuel L. Jackson with the lightsaber. He wanted a purple lightsaber. You know, I'm like purple lightsaber. And they went, all right, you've got a purple lightsaber. And he put MFB on it.
Yeah.
It's got MFB on it somewhere. Because it sounds like a really nice fella.
I think he was a bit awkward when he was younger, but no, as he's got older, and yeah, I read the same Brian Blessed book that you did.
Get the audio book.
I've got the audio book. That
fantastic.
Is when I say I read that, it's the audio version of it. I've got all of it.
We listened to that. We had that on a trip down to Wales. It was perfect.
Oh, I love it.
Such a good storyteller.
I love Brian Blessed.
Yeah, so they went on strike. The guys, it's funny because they went on strike after Oppenheimer released. I know why they did it, because it was like, kind of, dude, you can't kill the industry, because Oppenheimer's the big one that everyone's going to be talking about, not Barbie, I'm afraid. And that's why they had to do it after.
I've so much apathy now that I just really don't care about them. The first writer's strike, a few years ago, I was really, worried about it, because that was when entertainment was pretty good. Now,
yes,
I don't care.
right. The one thing that I can agree with them on, and this is a good one, because when you got TV and it went into syndication and you'd written an episode, you get a nice royalty check off the back of that. Yep. With the repeats, it gets shown on another channel, you get a nice royalty check off the back of it. On streaming, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
No, look.
Okay, actually saying that,
they have a point. I'm not saying they don't have a point about their strike, but actually, I just don't care. I genuinely don't care about these people, because most of them are assholes now. The actors are. The actors think, they kind of look. The studio is an absolute arsehole, and they clearly could afford to pay them. They're just not, because they're a bunch of greedy bastards. But this is what Hollywood is like. All this is doing is showing what Hollywood is really like.
Oh, Hollywood have been greedy bastards since day dot.
Yeah.
There are stories, and it's like, kind of, what was the only example I can give you, but I know this is true, because they bloody fucked over Charlie Chaplin, for Christ's sake, yeah? That's one of the first examples I can think of. But what's the film? Oh, the Three Amigos. Seen the Three Amigos? Where they're getting paid fuck all, and then they need to go and get some money of sorts, and then they go into Mexico. I know that's a crap way of doing it, but it wasn't a million miles away from that. I think it was when it got out of, like, past World War II, and then all of a sudden America wanted to push culture and whatnot. That's when they all started getting paid big money and whatnot.
But it's just the amount of shit that they've been making, and Lucasfilm, and I'm not trying to shoehorn Star Wars, and I'm not going to talk about Star Wars. Actually, I was more thinking about Indiana Jones. Lucasfilm once been, that company that did everything so well is now in the tatters. Disney's fucked. This is just going to fuck them even further. They've admitted. Was it this week? That they've admitted that the Marvel TV series have diluted, too much. Was it? Oh, it was what's his face that said it? Bob Iger. Iger said it.
Bob Iger.
Yeah, he said that the too many had diluted the brand, which is absolutely true. Well, yes, it has diluted the brand.
I think quality diluted the fucking brand.
Well, yeah, but hang
on a second, Keith. Right, hold on a second, Keith. If they would have produced all of these TV shows and all of them were excellent, do you think it would have diluted the brand? The answer is no.
Honestly, I don't know, because Endgame really did screw things up for me. I just go back, because to me, like, the heart of the MCU was always Tony Stark, and they turned him into a selfish twatbag. And they did this stupid 5-year jump, and it's just ruined everything. Now, if they were good, if Secret Invasion had been good, yeah, probably you're right. Had we had Samuel L. Jackson being motherfucking Nick Fury as opposed to bitch boy Nick Fury, it might have been good. And here's the thing: Secret Invasion could have been good. It's just not. It's been cheap as shit. The trouble is, if they made a few Marvel TV Spirit and spent money on them instead of having really shit budgets for them, and you can tell when they're really low budget and they're not particularly good. And the thing is, you're not bringing on a good creative team to even do anything with that low budget. Look at Picard season 3; that did a lot with a low budget. But you look at
that did a lot with low budget and a small writing staff. I think there were only 5 of them, and one of them was getting the coffees.
And you look at that. So no, and now all the actors are on strike. So I hope it really dries I hope it really, weeds out the chaff from Hollywood now. And a lot of people, I'm sorry, get fucked over. And
I'll be honest with you. If I was in charge, I would go. If I was in charge of the studios, I would go to all the other studio heads and turn around and goes, look, writers have been producing real crap recently. Okay, so what we're gonna do, is if we fire all of them and then rehire the good ones and then leave the shit ones out. We can, and the other time too is we can maybe give them those royalties that they're missing and give them the bits that they're asking for, but only the good ones. The shit ones don't deserve to be paid.
I mean, there was an interview with Sean Astin. He was on the negotiation team. I don't know. He was doing some of the negotiating. I can't care about this. Am I worried about not having much entertainment? Well, I'm going back and watching loads of old things at the moment because there is nothing good. There is barely anything. I know it's the summer months where we don't have anything
hang on.
good. Yeah.
Hang on. News just in. I just received a text message from Nigel. He's just watched Picard season 3 and he thinks it's okay.
Actually,
and I'll be honest with you, it was Friday he sent a text message.
But he was a bit more complimentary than he's
I
normally.
know, but you know what Nigel's like. Yeah, how was it, Nigel? It was all
right. I mean, he generally seemed to really enjoy it, which I'm glad of. Everybody's on strike. Hollywood's fucked. Oh well. Kind of deserve it. Kind of look. I kind of want to see Disney go down the pan, and I hate to say that, but I do. I'm fed up with them all. I'm just fed up with them.
They need a shake up. They need someone to come in there and go, no, these don't work. I'm sorry. That's what it is, because they've got a lot of spoiled children. They have spoiled children who haven't really experienced anything. I just turn around to these writers and turn around and goes, so let me have a look. You're writing a scene here, a coffee shop, where they're talking to people. Okay, we've banned this now. I want you to go out, yeah? And I want you to fucking do some living. Yeah, throw yourself out of an aircraft. Yeah, what would Tom Cruise do? That's the question. That's what we're going to ask now. Yeah, all right? I want to live a little. What would Tom Cruise do? He drove a car almost off a cliff. Something of value. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, he is probably the last movie star. Probably one of the last sort of action movie stars, and I'm glad he's still going. but it's like I'm fed up of Hollywood destroying all of the male heroes, belittling them. They've done it to all of the they've done it to Indy, they've done it to Luke, they did it to Han Solo, they've done it to fucking Nick Fury. They made Tony Stark into a fucking selfish prick. They're doing it to all the male characters, if you're a male hero, you are belittled, made to feel small, or you're turned into a curmudgeon, or you're turned into something. I'm just fed up with it. There's no creativity here. There's no creative writing here. Hollywood has been creatively bankrupt. That's why they Disney just keeps making fucking live action versions of its cartoons, which to me is creatively bankrupt. There's been no decent Pixar fucking movie in donkey's ages, and Pixar used to make really good, heartwarming movies. Wall-E, still one of my favorites. Fucking brilliant movies. They haven't made a decent one in ages. What is there to look forward to? Okay, I'm glad that June Part 2 is coming, because I am genuinely looking forward to that. Because I loved the first one. But what else is there? I heard they're making a Gladiator 2. Did you know that? They're making a Gladiator 2. Why do we need that? Why do we need that? What? Why are you making a sequel?
They can make Russell Crowe a divorced alcoholic.
Oh, he's not in it. He died.
Who's on the thing?
So he's not.
No, they're bringing. Yeah. No, they're going to bring him back so they can character assassinate him.
Well, yeah, maybe.
I don't know what. If you got some fucking awesome bits of Roman history that you could do, you could actually do the Battle of Thermopylae, the 300 actual story rather than the comic book one. You could actually do things like that. The Syracuse that was in Indiana Jones. You could do that. The siege of Rome. You could do that when Rome falls, and because they go from being pantheistic to Christianity. They could do all of these things. If you want to do those epics, there are so many historic tales that you can tell. Yeah, and I lean towards Europe because I bloody live in Europe. So there are probably others in fucking Africa that could go through. If you want some bloody, you harp on about diversity, but you won't pick an African story or legend or fable or something and turn that into a bloody Pixar film. I don't get that. That pisses me off because I don't know much about African culture. I kind of like to know a bit more about African culture. I probably know more about Indian culture than African culture, to be frank with you. But they don't, and I don't get it. I know what it is. Actually, that's a lie. Because they only see legitimacy in white characters and white culture. Because they're racist deep down. Oh, they're actually racist.
Oh, yeah. And this is what I always argued about the Peter Parker, bringing Peter Parker back and not, I'm basing this upon their supposed ideology of the fact that you'd had a Spider-Man, like, literally made 2 or 3 years previously, and you wanted to bring Spider-Man back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You had the perfect opportunity there to do Miles Morales. You could have, but I'm not saying they should have. And look, I'm putting aside what we talked about, but based upon their ideology, Gareth, that's what they should have done because they believe in that, and they didn't. Why didn't they do it? Because they knew.
Hang on a second, because Miles Morales it sounds a weird one. I know that I call him Patient Zero, but they actually put together a character. They actually put together a character. Which is fine, but
I'm not arguing. I'm arguing because they like to race swap. Why didn't they then? What was the reason they didn't? Why did they bring back?
Because they could have their Spider-Man in another universe. Because that would have worked.
But anyway, the only thing that has bothered me this week, right? The only thing that's upset me about this Hollywood strike is at the beginning of the week we got this amazing picture of Deadpool and Hugh Jackman in the actual sort of cartoon comic book Wolverine yellow suit, right? And I was like, oh, that's cool, right? This is going to be a good movie. And then by the end of the week, the movie's shut down. And by the fact, I mean, you keep hearing all the rumors of all the fucking people that are going to be in this movie, right? Like Patrick Stewart is going to be in the movie. What's his face is Magneto. It's going to be back in the movie. They're all in it. This has got this fucking huge cast, right? The rumor is that bloody Iron Man's going to be in it. Like literally, what's his face is going to turn up at one point in this movie.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, he was on set. Actually, might be in this movie. I mean, look at that. And I was just like, I'm looking forward to this.
Do you know? It sounds weird. Do you know who they need in it?
Who?
They need the Hulk.
Well,
apparently they're all in it. Fight is between Wolverine and the Hulk.
Well, it's the TVA. That's the main thing, right? It's the Time Authority, right? Because at the end of the movie where he goes back and alters at the second one, he alters all of it. The TVA catch up with him, right? So I don't know if it's going to tie into the Loki thing or not.
I'm hoping it does, but in like a really severely crap way, like he's edited into a few frames here and there, because it would be funnier.
Or you get that really annoying cartoon character you had in Loki TV series pop up and Deadpool just chopped it up or something, which will be cool. And you know he's going to do that. You know that it's going to be that kind of humor. But look, I mean, there is one hidden grace in this. Saving grace, sorry. The movie's now shut down. If this all gets resolved, in theory, they should solve the writer's strike as well, right? So then this, Ryan Reynolds can go back to ad-libbing and re-scripting, and we might get a better movie out of it, but it's going to be delayed. Luckily, Mission Impossible's in the part 2 is already in the can. They shot both of them together. I don't know if they have to get people back for reshoots, because when they did the Lord of the Rings films, they shot all 3 films back to back, but he didn't start work on the Two Towers until after the Fellowship was in the cinema. So, and they had to come back throughout that period to do reshoots. So I don't know if Mission's going to do that, because obviously they won't be able to come back and do reshoots. But yeah, I don't know how many. But the other thing is, if the films are being shot in England, they don't technically have to shut down. So there are films that haven't shut down that are being shot in the UK.
It's good for us, I suppose.
Interestingly. So Pinewood is still very, very busy at the moment.
Well, they're building Netflix is building a massive facility around from Mean. Do you know where the Laleham Reservoir is? Yes. Around there, on the back of Shepperton.
So they're expanding.
So they've literally the land behind Shepperton. They've just consumed it all the way up to the reservoir, and they've even shut one of the roads down. Good job I don't live anywhere near there
but
anymore.
Has there been any? I mean, well, okay, the Lincoln Lawyer is quite good, but that's shot in LA. Yeah, I did watch that last week. The part 1, because now Netflix have taken to releasing 2, part 1 and 2 of this fucking season.
Anyway, right, okay. Now we've finished with said writer's strike, because I'm finished with said writer's strike. I want it over and done with.
Yeah.
But to quote Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, the writer's strike is in its 4th year and nothing is affected. Jimmy Olsen. Network head Jimmy Olsen. I love that quote in that. I have to put that on a t-shirt. So just a quick one. I've been watching Welcome to Wrexham, which is like the real life Ted Lasso.
Yeah. Yes. With Ryan Reynolds and what's his face by
Rob McAnally.
Yeah, brilliant series, and they genuinely like that club.
There's a bit where I can't tell if he's being serious or not, because they're talking about the pitch, because the roots didn't take in the pitch, and it's just as dry as anything. And he's talking to Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds, I'm actually finding this quite interesting, because I don't know anything about this. This is something new. And it's like, how much is it going to cost? And it's like 100,000, and then it cuts to the thing after the pitch has been done, £300,000 later. I really enjoy that. It's a good thing. I do think that they got in over their heads. I do think they got in over their heads.
But they kind of said that in the first episode. They thought they would.
No. I think it's like kind of, we'll get in over our heads, and then they were like, oh, we really got in over our heads when they're talking about budgets and stuff. But hey,
it's paid off. It's paid off.
Oh no, it's interesting. I haven't finished watching it. I haven't checked Rex's performance. Don't tell me what happens.
Oh, sorry, it was all over the fucking
what
news.
Happens.
How did you miss that?
I never saw it. I never saw it.
All right then. I will shut up.
Don't even bloody text me, because you'll ruin it. All right.
Sorry.
Can't take them anywhere.
I don't know. I'm not going to say anything more. I'm just. Anyway, moving swiftly on before I spoil anything more.
Swiftly and smoothly on with no seams whatsoever. Segueing beautifully into, Keith, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Hijack, but I just like if Jack Ryan season 4 finished on Prime this week, that was actually quite good. Worth a watch if you've got nothing else to watch. It was pretty good. Season 4. The Lincoln Lawyer is pretty good if you're into like legal things. Lincoln Lawyer season 1 was pretty good. Season 2 so far pretty good. Yeah. So we're talking about Hijack. You said you didn't think a lot happened this week. I thought a fuckload happened in this episode.
No, I'll be honest with you. I watched it and it didn't engage me. Because as soon as they pulled the shit that someone got shot somewhere else on the plane, yeah, I'm like, oh,
but I knew
and that just made me go, oh.
But I thought it was clever how he managed to sort of signify who the hijacker was by calling his wife quickly and then deleting it. I thought that was all pretty good. The whole bit with the Romanian fucking fighters coming up, that was pretty sort of, and then you find out that they haven't told the fucking Home Secretary. So, who finds out at the end of it? I don't know. I quite enjoy it. I'm enjoying it. I think it's pretty good.
It just felt more, for me, if kind of felt treading water sort of thing. Oh, look, they've gone past from our territory that now they've got this again. And it's like, this again. And it's like, kind of, it doesn't feel like it's gone forward. All we've got is the guy got shot and the conversation with him, and that's it. And it's like, kind of, dude, you've been trying to tell them from episode 1 that the plane's been hijacked.
But you've got the bad guys. Yeah, but it's confirmed now. Now they know it's hijacked. But you've got the bad guys, like the bad guys that seem to be sort of pulling all the strings, turning up at Idris's home or his wife's home. So what's that all about? How is this connected?
My money says he's in on it at the end. He's orchestrated this whole thing. I genuinely think he's orchestrated this whole thing. I'll be honest with you. It's the only way it can redeem itself in my eyes if he's the one he's the mastermind who's pulled this off. And he's like he was hired to do this for someone else, if that makes any sense. He's like a fixer, like a high level fixer. That would explain why his wife's a bit scared of him, and why she's going out with copper.
Yep, you could be right. I generally don't know, but it's keeping me hooked enough to watch it next week. It's keeping.
I'll get the missus to watch it and I'll ask her opinion on it. I'll be frank. Maybe when it comes to this,
your missus has very good taste. I agree with her.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've not been well recently. Maybe it's the fact that I was watching it. I was sick and I wasn't feeling quite with it.
Yeah, look,
maybe that's what's caused it, and I think that's probably also caused my slightly tempered reaction to Mission Impossible. Even though I step back, looking at everything, counting everything, looking through all the bits objectively, there's bits in that film that you should all like just from a popcorn movie sort of thing.
See, your good lady wife liked the cider, which I kind of enjoyed as well. I'm actually reading the books.
You've not played Fallout, Keith. You played Fallout.
Look how long I've been playing Zelda. Can you imagine if I got into Fallout? Can you imagine? I'd never seen my wife like ever. I mean, Zelda. I've been playing it for nearly 3 fucking months now. And now I got myself a tank. It's kind of cool.
You are a tank, Keith. You are a tank, and I will refer. Hang on a second. I will refer to early 2000s Game Warehouse chair, cardboard, and a broomstick.
That was a Dalek.
You are a tank, Keith. You were a tank, Keith. You were a fat Dalek. That's
I'll never forget the look. I'll never forget the look on the boss's face. Like you guys go upstairs and take care of the boxes. So he comes up.
You were hiding too. Was the other bit that got me because I went upstairs and then you were like, "What the fuck's going on here?"
You send 2 20-year-olds up that are fucking gamers, right? And you go and tell them to go and sort out a load of cardboard boxes, right? There's a chair and a fucking broomstick. What do you think's gonna happen?
Jousting.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would
have done jousting.
That was, oh dear, that was
You were
brilliant.
hiding in the rubbish, though. That was the thing. You were hiding, waiting to,
Was I
waiting for
high?
that kind of catch me.
I can't
It's like, no,
remember.
you weren't. But yes.
Um, but no, I enjoyed Hijack this week. I'm quite enjoying it. It's probably one of the only things on Apple TV at the moment that's any good. Foundation came back. I know you don't like it. I found the first episode quite good. Of this series, they've stepped it up a bit. They've stepped it up a bit.
The other thing with Foundation is I think that as a sci-fi book, I think it's been pilfered and picked
Yeah,
away at by so many other people. I've seen it already, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
In pieces. That might be the other thing, because it doesn't appear to be new, even though technically it was the first. It's got the John what's it of Mars? I would
yes.
say John Carpenter of Mars.
Yeah, that's the thing. There was that's just John Carpenter's Mars, one of Disney's biggest flops, and they're now doing a Disney Plus series on it. I mean, I actually thought John Carter was quite a good movie, but Disney
Again,
Plus,
it's another one that's been picked away at. The idea of him being on a low gravity planet was like Superman, yeah.
yeah,
Alien turns up and saves a load of people against Superman, yeah. You've got all these things that kind of appeared before, and it's like Dune-esque with the setup on everything. So it's yeah, it's one of those things where
Foundation. This episode was interesting. I mean, we got a lot more of Harry because I like the actor, and Harry losing his mind, or one version of Harry. We got a lot more of the Cleons, and result
I took
of their
Klingons then.
the Cleons,
The Cleons.
Cleon 17,
Kaplunk.
Dawn, Day, and Dusk, which actually is not in the books. This was a TV thing, which I think is quite clever. And Lee Pace does play Day well.
I do like Lee Pace in it. I will give you that. I like Lee Pace in it.
And he was good in this because he gets attacked and has a full-on sort. It was done very well. I mean, he's in the buff, but you don't see anything. But he has this whole fight scene in the buff, and he kind of relishes that. Robot lady gets half her head cut off, which was kind of freaky. But that was interesting since the genetic modifications. But then you got Gail, right? And the girl that was playing Gail, you told me she was from South Africa, right? In the first series, I never really heard it. Her South African accent's really coming through now in this. Maybe they've just gone, oh, sod it, just use your own accent. So there's a lot of white bread, brown bread coming. Sorry, I sound like an American there. But I was trying to do the bloody thingy, Patsy Kenzie, really bad South African accent, but there's a lot of South African accent now coming through. But it's interesting again. I don't know. This episode was better. It was genuinely better. Whether it carries on being good, I don't know. The trouble is, Foundation. When you get something like June Part 1 and that June Part 2, Rebecca Ferguson girl. I'm and what's his face is the fucking emperor in June 2. That's just genius. Yeah, I can't really compare the two, but it was all right. Look, it was more watchable than a lot of the crap that's out there at the moment. So, and I'm sort of clutching at straws of what to watch at the moment. So, because it's just nothing. I've gone back watching old things. I've got like HBO again. I'm watching loads of old shit on HBO. Because there's just nothing decent. Nothing this weekend's come out on Netflix, and we're not getting Reacher until Christmas. It's December or November. Reacher's coming.
Well, we'll be patient. We'll be watching it. It'll be fine. It'll be good.
Oh yeah,
it'll be good.
I'm up for that. But anyway, I'm done.
Slow Horses is due this year too.
Yeah, but that's already been shot. So
yeah, I know.
Thank God. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I've gone back and watched 1 and 2 again because there's nothing to watch. I'm even contemplating going and watching Picard again, especially after Nigel's text. I was like, yeah, might go watch that again. There's nothing else. Fuck it.
I'll be honest with you. I'm tempted to go back and watch the original series of Star Trek because out of all of them, that's the one I can barely remember because I watched most of it as a kid. I have not. It is one of the ones I think I can remember all of like series 1 and half of season 2. So it might be something I'd go back and watch. But it's one of those things. And on that note, I think it's time we said goodbye.
Yep.
So Keith's gonna put his trousers on finally, and we will see you in the next video.
See you next week, guys. Bye bye.